The Guide to Goals podcast gives you the tools, direction, and resources you need to pursue your passion project. I'm Deborah Eckerling, Project Catalyst, and this is the Guide to Goals podcast. Our guest today is Kim Garst, and we're going to talk about live video. Kim is the best-selling author of Will the Real You Please Stand Up? Show Up, Be Authentic, and Prosper in Social Media. She is the CEO of Boom Social, a social selling training and consulting agency, and her blog, kimgarst.com, is one of the top social media resources in the world. Kim, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Deborah. I'm excited to be here and excited to share our topic in particular.
I am so excited about live video, and I guess especially Facebook Live because I'm an Android, so I was waiting a long time to get it, and the day I got it, I'm like, I promise, as soon as live video is bestowed upon me, I'm going to start using it. Well, did I miss anything about you that you want to share about yourself, or should we jump right in?
No, let's just dive right in. Let's do this.
Okay. So why do you love live video so much?
Well, basically, I love video, or not video per se, because my team will tell you that I hate video, and they hate video days around here, or did prior to live video anyway, because I always felt like everything had to be perfect. I would edit them to death, and it was such a big pain in the old tush to get videos done and pushed out around here. But when live video came around, what really hooked me was two things, honestly. One was the opportunity to, with no advance notice, press the start broadcast button and connect to a community of people that were interested. I mean, with no advance notice, with no advertising, none of the traditional things that we jump through hoops for, like when we're doing webinars, etc. And then the other thing that truly probably even above and beyond the fact that you could connect to people in real time, in the moment, with no advertising, no advance notice, was the people themselves. It's the embodiment of social media, in my opinion. You can engage with people in real time. They can ask you questions. You can respond. The community is so much tighter knit, and the relationships you form are so much more amazing. So I'm a huge fan of live video.
And so we have Blab, we have Periscope, and we have Facebook Live. Those are like the top three, right?
Yes. I think, Meerkat kind of was the first and has kind of gone by the wayside. Periscope still has a lot of legs, and of course Facebook Live is recently rolled out, and of course Blab's a slightly different platform, but still very definitely in the live streaming space.
Do you play favorites?
I don't, because I tell people all the time, people are always asking me this question. So it's a great question, but that's like saying, do I prefer chocolate ice cream or strawberry? I actually like both, or trying to decide whether, you're going to be on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest. I think if your ideal customer or your ideal client is on that platform, or you can build a community on that platform, then if you have time and resources, you should be there.
Well, first of all, I knew I liked you, but the fact that you just did an ice cream analogy, I just like you even more now. And if someone has absolutely no clue which platform to go on, which one would you say is the easiest one to jump into?
Facebook Live and Periscope are fairly easy to utilize, because technically, really, all you have to do is have a phone and have the courage to hit that start broadcast button or the go live button. They're both very easy to use. Obviously, you have to, with that said, you do have to have Facebook Live access. It's not available to everyone yet on their business pages, so it's slowly but surely rolling out.
Okay, but you can do it on a personal page and always repurpose it, right, for the business if you don't have it there yet?
I would not recommend that, because it's against Facebook's toss to use your personal profile for business. So you could actually get into trouble if you do that. If somebody reported you, Facebook could terminate your Facebook account.
Really?
Yes,
okay. See, you learn something new every day. So you can use Facebook Live for personal anyway to say, hey, I'm doing this, right? But for business centric, you really want to be on the business page or the group or the event page, right?
Yes. And that's the beautiful thing about Facebook Live. It is more full featured, in my opinion, because you can leverage it in some other ways. You can, in other words, it's not just one way. You can leverage it for within inside of Facebook groups. So if you have a group and you've built out a community inside of that group, you can, share content live. And you can also set up an event and then broadcast live to that event, which I think has immense value for a lot of types of businesses where they might host certain types of events and then they can broadcast live to that event page. I think that is an amazing opportunity.
Do you have a good example of how a business could do that for an event?
Sure. In fact, like if you are, the first idea that comes to mind is if you're in the direct sales space, for example, and a lot of those are home party environments where you could set up an event at a certain time instead of going live into someone's home like you would normally do it. You could host that event and live stream it. If you're going to have a local pampered chef party, for example,
Uh-huh.
you invite your friends and your neighbors and they have to be able to drive there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with this opportunity, you could literally have a worldwide event, make it kind of home themed, but it would be live and on Facebook, which is, I think, an amazing opportunity for those in the direct sales space.
Well, even someone, if they've got like a book launch or a product launch or something like that, you don't even have to travel like ever, which is probably good and bad, right?
Well, yes, good and bad. And even like, for example, the one of the value adds, obviously, for home parties is the connection and that social atmosphere. But I actually, to your point about authors, I saw a very clever event hosted by an author who did kind of a scavenger hunt type of thing on an event page. I thought it was very, very well done. And like a lot of mediums as it relates to tech is how can you creatively make it fun,
Mm-hmm.
and show up in unique ways. And I think that's just, again, from a standpoint of having that creative streak, or if you don't have it, borrowing ideas from others that have great ideas that you can make your own.
What mistakes are people making with the live video?
Well, I think from the standpoint of the biggest mistakes, honestly, are a lack of focus, just getting on and rambling, or, one of my biggest kind of pet peeves as it relates to folks jumping into the live streaming space is doing so without a plan. They just randomly jump in, and that's true across social media, honestly. But I think sometimes they'll get on and they'll say, well, let's wait till some more people get on, and so it's just a random like thing, and it's almost like devaluing the people that are live with you, but
Mm-hmm.
and saying that wait, we have to wait until more important people get here
Ooh.
before we can get started. I've heard a lot of people do that where, oh, let's just give it a few minutes and let's wait for some more people to come. And I'm like, but I'm here and I'm ready to go. So I think that that's something that, again, just shows a little bit of lack of respect for those that have come, tuned in already. So those are the kind of small things, but are big things in the big picture. And then, and I also think that there's some core things that you should do. Like, I truly believe that you should have some sort of a tripod so that you're not like, making your viewers dizzy. And of course, having some good sound and some decent lighting. All of those things are, important in my opinion.
Is there a good amount of time to be on for your live streams, or does it really depend?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to address this from two standpoints, because with Facebook Live is giving tons of push on the reach in particular while you're physically live on your broadcast. So basically what that means is Facebook sees that you're live and they're saying, oh, let me push this content out. So they're giving us a ton of reach right now, which is a huge value add, honestly, for us as marketers, because it gives us an opportunity to get more of our content into the feeds of our fans, whether it's those that are or fan base or those that might randomly bump into our content. Regardless, it's more people, right? And more eyeballs on our business. So that means though that you should live stream longer rather than shorter. In other words, and for the most part, you don't want to get on Facebook and say, oh, here I am, and I got to jump off. So you don't want to do like just a quick and short type of thing. Yeah, I recommend that you stay on at least 15 to 20 minutes on Facebook. And I try to keep my broadcasts both on Periscope and Facebook about 20 to 30 minutes in length. Sometimes they'll run a little over, but my thought process and the way I share content on Facebook and Periscope is that I'm addressing business owners. I'm trying to help business owners, and I know their time is valuable. And my intent when I share content on those platforms is to make it snackable and action-based, so that when they leave my broadcast, they can go do something. They can take some action with the content that I've shared with them.
Well, I already told you at the end of this podcast, we give goals. So I'm all about the go, listen, and leave with something to do. What makes a good viewer?
Well, both platforms have comments. The key is not to get wrapped up in the multitasking, because when you first start, it's a little overwhelming watching the comments and trying to focus on what you're saying. So that's kind of a bit of an issue, but across the board, the beautiful part is that you can actually talk to those people, and they are, for the most part, very receptive to the live environment and to the content that you're sharing, as long as it's good stuff, and so what makes a good viewer is somebody who is interested in your content and is giving you feedback, whether that's a question or whether that is anything as it relates to, kind of sharing that they are listening to what you're sharing.
Okay. So if you're thinking about doing the live video, maybe watch some and do some interactions. So when you do them yourself, you're not like, what have I got myself into, right?
Well, that's a great point, and I'm glad you brought it up. I highly recommend that if you're considering doing live video, that you check out some people who are doing live streaming. See what you like from the things that they're doing, incorporate those in your system, and voila, you'll feel much more comfortable than just starting out cold.
It's really as simple as it walks you through. If you want to go live, it'll, like on Facebook, you press the broadcast and you give the title and description. And the same thing with Periscope, it walks you through what you have to do to get started, right?
It does. Like I do have a jumpstart guide for Periscope, but it's very simple. I mean, you download the app. And similarly, Periscope is just a standalone app. It's not built into the platform. It's owned by Twitter, but it's not built into the Twitter platform. With Facebook, it is a mobile app, so you can't do it from your desktop, but you can access Facebook Live for your personal profile inside of the Facebook app. And you can access the Facebook Live for your page using the Facebook page app and using the Facebook Mentions app.
Okay, so wherever you have it, then that's the best way to use it. And you're using it for business. What cases, just real quick before we go into wrap-up mode, in what cases would you use it for personal?
So I'll give a personal example. My nephew is graduating from high school this weekend. I'm not able to be there, so my sister is going to selectively choose family members that she wants to showcase this content to, and she's going to live stream it on Facebook. That's a beautiful thing about your personal profile, is you can control who sees it on your personal profile. You cannot do that on your fan page because your fan pages are public. But you can choose to broadcast a birthday party or a wedding or any type of event that you might want to share that, selectively or across the board. I mean, you can open it up and make it public, or, you can selectively say, hey, these 5 family members are going to be able to see this content.
Oh, that's such a good use of it too.
We do that with photos. Most of us know that you can selectively let people see content on Facebook as it relates to photos. But from a live video standpoint, that's an opportunity for us to share a whole different layer of content in a live environment. You could literally record pretty much anything that would be a way for someone else to feel like they're a part of that experience. I think it was originated, and even Periscope definitely originated from a place of wanting to be able to share an experience with the world from the viewpoint of your eyes. We've just been able to, from a marketing standpoint, leverage it in a different medium, because it allows us now to have kind of an infomercial or our own TV show.
I think it's great. I think it's really the best time to be active doing any sort of business, whether it's your full-time or your passion project, because the tools are there. There's so many opportunities if you just go and you find the ones that work for you and embrace them and just have fun with it, right?
Absolutely. And, it's just exactly like any other social platform, in the sense that, from a standpoint of where do you go and what do you do? Is it one more thing? But the neat part about live video versus trying to decide if you're going to, jump into Snapchat, for example, although Snapchat does have a live video element, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of talk right now around Snapchat and should I be there? And in my opinion, that this live video cannot be ignored. It is probably the fastest way that I've ever seen to build the know, like, and trust factor. Which, when you get started on most social platforms, there's a time lag. There's a time investment. You have to create content. You have to engage. You have to, it's a lot of work to get started and to build a community on any social platform. And I've seen not only myself, but other people build amazing communities leveraging live streaming in a very short window compared to other social platforms, and the time that you would normally have to invest in building a community on social media. So I just think it's such a great opportunity for us. And, I personally also believe it's the future of social media. People are flocking to it. I don't believe it's a fad. I think we're going to continue to see the evolution of live streaming. That's why all of the big social platforms are going all in on live video, because they see the writing on the wall too. So from a business standpoint, I think we all need to wrap our heads around it and kind of get with it.
Okay. Well, which is exactly why, I mean, what better advocate for live video could I interview than you?
Thank you.
Now, before we give those goals, I just want to ask you about work-life balance, because you're very busy and you're very everywhere. So what do you do to maintain the balance?
For years, my office was in the home, and it was tough to have that division, of, it was all because you were always there. It was always on. And I never was disciplined enough to, close the office door and walk away, so that was always a struggle for me. But about 3 years ago now, I guess it's been, we opened a physical office. And coming to the office and having what I would call semi-normal hours has really helped me to go home and leave work at the office. So that's something that's really helped me. I'm also really big on, if I need to do something and, that's family related, or, that I just want to do, I make that time. I don't say, oh, I'll get to that. I've learned that family first, always. If I have something that's personal, I absolutely align my business goals around that. I don't let that, I don't let my business take over from the personal side. It's been an evolution for me, and I've just realized that, family is always first, and the business will be here when I get back.
It's something, especially if someone's got like their day job and they're building something, I think it's really hard to balance, but you still need to know that your family's gonna, your family should still be a priority unless there's a deadline of some
Yes.
sort.
Right. And one of my biggest regrets is the fact that I wasn't good at separating those things when I had my home office. So, I started my business over 20 years ago when my youngest was just a baby. And, I can remember sitting on the floor playing Legos with him and on the phone, multitasking. I thought I was doing the right thing, right? I'm like, I'm here, I'm playing, I'm hanging out, I'm working. And the interesting part, and if I had to do it over again, this would be one thing that I would absolutely change. I would be solely a mom in those moments and not be trying to play both ends to the middle and do both.
So I guess that should be our personal goal this week then, is to have some separation. So if you work from home, and an office is not an option, maybe go out to a coffee house or get a free co-working day and see how that separation, maybe try it for a couple days or a week to see what it does for your productivity. Because if you're present with your work when you're outside of the home, then you're going to be more present with your home life inside of it, correct?
Absolutely. And, just looking back on it, I think I would have been much more productive in my work if I had been physically present and in the moment in both places and not been trying to, leverage that time to do both.
And maybe so the bonus personal goal is going to be the next time you're spending family time, if you find yourself thinking about work, just shut it down. Just be as present as possible. When you're at home, be present at home. And when you're at work, be present at work. And if you can't always make that separation, but when you can, you totally should.
Absolutely.
And then I think for the professional goal, it should be to find like 5 video streams and watch them and take notes and figure out what you can use from that for yourself, and then try it. Because what do you have to lose? Nothing. And you can gain a ton.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of people are fearful of this median, because it's putting themselves out there big time. There's no hiding behind the computer screen anymore. But I just would like to encourage everybody that if you can push past that fear, there is amazing things on the other side.
I think that is a wonderful note to end on. Thank you again, Kim Garst, so much for joining us today to talk about live video. And you can go to guidedgoals.com, and I will have the audio and the video and show notes and links and even more. And your goals will be right out there in front of you. So you can jump into live video and go on out there and go for it. Thank you so much, Kim.
So excited that you invited me, Deb. Have a great day, everyone. Hopefully you'll get busy with the live video, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.